My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to my channel, Corona Rising. Today is Thursday, March the 10th, 2022. And I'm joined today by my good friend, Crystal Hemphill from Journey Intuit. And Crystal and I are going to talk about some of the things that you've been up to. We're going to do a little catch up. You and I've we've chatted a little bit here and there over the last few months. I don't think I could have probably made it through some of these energetics without some of the shadow work that you've done with me, and for which I'm ever so grateful. But as it happens, this morning, before I turn the floor over to you, you wrote something this morning that I came across on your Facebook page, and I view it as sort of a bio of you, if you will. And I wonder if you would mind if I share that with everyone.
Go right ahead.
Because, I know that on my other channel, Conscious Conversation Central, a lot of the viewers there knew who you were. You are my personal Beyond Quantum Healer practitioner. And you also have facilitated quite a bit of shadow work for me, with me, and which has been very helpful. And so we've done some work together. And you also bring the Rubian healing energy, heart healing energy through.
Yeah, we've
but I love
what those.
Right. And but this, I do know that I have a lot of brand new subscribers to this channel, since it's new. So I'm going to take a moment and read what you wrote, because first of all, I love it. I love that you wrote this, and I happen to agree with it. So this morning, Crystal posted on her Facebook page, "Oh, the synchronicities. My deprogram 32U is calling." 32 has been my number for many years. It was about me finding myself, discovery, healing, my rebirth, staying true to who I am, and boldly stepping outside of my comfort zone. So I will continue to do that, as constantly reminded. Many of you hardly know me, even family. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Crystal J. Hemphill, mother, daughter, sister, aunt, healer, light language activator, hypnosis practitioner, light and dark worker, specialist in shadow work, and artist. Why do I specialize in shadow work? Easy. I had a lot to work on within myself through the years, through sexual abuse, overcoming selective mutism, physical and emotional abuse. I healed. Piece by piece, I stitched myself together, pieces I knew and discovering things I didn't. Through the journey, I learned my worth, what I value, and above all, who I truly am. Even those close to me may be confused by the choices I've made with my career. Well, it's not right. It's not practical. 9 to 5. It's not a practical 9 to 5. What does she even do? Where does she think this is going? Or my favorite, that's the devil. We've all been there, honey. I help people all over the world who have been through similar things I have. We journey into the deepest parts of them and heal within, so they see the changes in their life. After all, as within, so without. I teach them to be vulnerable, to walk through and face their own darkness, to surrender to their emotions, to know it's okay to feel how they feel when society says, glue a smile on and shake it off. Be emotional, cry it out, get angry, shout, be enraged for the experiences you've been through. It's hard to walk through the darkness of self, to face the shadow self, and love it all the same. I hold that space for them. We cross boundaries, discuss, learn, pull out really tough things from the unconscious mind to heal. I am a guiding light through that darkness. And when they're ready and reach the other side of that, from dark to light, I show them their value, how worthy they are, how to see themselves in a new light with profound understanding, how beautiful life can be, and how I want to cry here, and how to create the experiences they want in their life with purpose and passion. I mirror, I project, I heal, I guide, I love. And you do, by the way, my dear, just so you and I are very clear on that. I know that everything you've said in this is true. That's why I'm so blown away by it and you. And I want to finish it here. That's why my Deprogram 32U is all about. That's what my Deprogram 32U is all about. With the power of 3, we journey through your past, present, and future, working deeply in the mind, body, and soul. With the power of 2, we see the dark and the light, understanding and integrating it. This is about commitment to you, radical change and transformation. From dark to light, you can align with your highest potential. You can live an extremely satisfying life. You have a purpose. You are loved. Though you still may not understand my path, the path that I didn't choose, it chose me over and over and over again. I hope you see me, truly see me as I see me. I want you to know, Crystal, I see you in the way that you see you and more, by the way. I am just one person doing my part to support others in their journey while honoring my path and placing integrity into my work and loving every single second of it with so much love, Crystal Hemphill. And I just want to say,
Oh man, that was powerful hearing you read that the whole time. Like I'm getting cold chills over here. I want to cry. Like that was
I'm telling you,
beautiful hearing it from you.
well, reading it and hearing it in my mind, it's the you that I already know. And it's not the little me that knows that, if that makes any sense to you at all.
Yep, it does.
It's a part of the you that I sensed, I think, when we first met. And it was so awesome to read just an hour or so before I was going to meet with you today. And so there are, especially your very first words, oh, the synchronicities. Oh my gosh. So, you know, I really want you to talk about the 32U. I know that that's something that you were developing, and I haven't actually experienced the entire program, but I know that you were, as you were putting it all together, there are parts and pieces of it that you and I, that you worked with me, because it's all about that. And shadow work is it's a big misnomer, but there's really not any other way call it either, but it's
I think
really not exactly very descriptive of what it actually is. It's just,
it's not, but we have to slap a label on it, and so people will understand what in the world we're talking about here. But I think it's just so much deeper than that. I don't think it's just facing your shadows and bringing forth those things. It To me, the work that I've done with others, and definitely the work that I've done within myself, has just been life changing. I mean, it's to put the label on it of shadow work it brings it down a scale to where
yeah,
it's just so
it
much
does a
more.
big disservice in a way.
It
But you
does.
know what I was just shown? What I was just shown, okay, a lot of folks did see Soul. If you haven't, the Disney Pixar animated little movie called Soul. Spoiler alert, pause it, skip forward something. But there is a part in there where there's these big, scary, shadowy looking monsters chasing people around in the night, what looks like the night, right? In the other world. And the reason I think I feel that shadow work as a label is a bit of a disservice is because it's actually, for me, what just came to show me is that the shadow work that I've done has been delving into the deepest, most traumatically hurt parts of me, that I turned around and built up these huge walls and built up parts of, trying to get that tough skin on
Yep.
there, right? And so we can turn around and face the world in some sort of kind of way, right?
Yep.
That's why I feel like maybe it's such a disservice to just call it shadow work, because those shadows actually take years to build up like that, and they come directly from trauma.
Yep. And they run
And
the
there's
show.
not,
They
right,
run the show.
right. And there's not a being, by the way, on the planet that has escaped trauma.
No.
I know you might be walking around thinking, oh, I got a good life, I've escaped trauma. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you haven't.
Nope. 'Cause, it's shocked me, some of the things while I was working with myself, some of the things that would come up that I never in a million years would have recognized or realized. Um, it was just not some of those things that's like, oh, well, I definitely know that that has something to do with, why I feel this way or why I act this way and things like that. It would have nothing to do with that. And it'd be so, so small, yet so powerful, you know? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, please, 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 just if you would like to, because I got to tell you, the way you described to me when you were first sharing with me about
Mhm.
the 32U program, and or rather deprogram,
Yep.
because that is what this is. It is a
Deprogram.
method of deprogramming. So please, take whatever time and explain it, because I adore what you're doing here, and I've not heard anybody approach it in the way that you are.
All right, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and go onto my
Awesome.
website.
Please
You
do.
guys make sure you go to journeyintuit.com and go ahead and check that out. There's tons of stuff on there. Let's see which
Yes, and you also do a blog on that site too, don't you?
yeah.
And so they can sign up on your email list and get a notice whenever you update your blog.
Yes, I believe that's how it
Okay.
works. Now, I pretty much got my website together now. I have been working on it day in and day out to get it to where it is now. So I'm sure there are some kinks in it. So, you know, bear
Right.
with me as I continue to learn about that. And
Well, and if anybody comes across any snags or questions, they can reach out to you at
right,
journeyintuit@gmail.com.
right, just let me
Right?
know so I can
Yeah.
fix that. All right, so here's that. I don't need to share the sound. So go here. All right. All right, so here's my lovely site. We'll just scroll through this so you know you're at the right place. So what I do is each month I post the light language transmission on the front page for you guys, and the art that goes with it, and a little description of how to connect with that. And we'll talk more about the light language in a little bit. But this is the front page. You can see some of my most recent blog post. And then you can go right here to the 32U deprogram. And so here's all the information that you're going to want to, if you want to read more into it. But the 32U deprogram, it is a 5-week program. So that means you and me will get very comfortable with each other for 5 weeks. There is a reason for it being 5 weeks. And me personally, I feel like it's very, very important that those numbers, I feel like they hold a certain frequency to them. And just the way that 3 and the 2 does. So that's why I did it for 5 weeks. So you got the 3 plus 2 obviously is 5. So during this 5-week period, you're going to go through a lot. You're going to have a lot of questions for me, because what my job is to pull things out of you. So that does involve me asking a lot of questions, because we're diving deep here. So it's going to take commitment from that particular person. It's going to take a stance of being ready. I mean, really, truly ready to see yourself, your whole self. And, you know, I'm right there to walk you through those things. And it can be tough. It can be hard. So some of the things, let me go ahead and go through this. So some of the things that 32U is actually for, who is this going to help? People who have been through trauma, past trauma. This can also go ahead and mean past life trauma. So if you are bringing something into this life from that past life, then this is for you as well. If you've ever, and I've had plenty of people approach me and say, you know, I feel like I'm scared of X, Y, and Z because of a past life. I'm like, okay, well, let's dig into this a little bit more. Let's see if that's the case. So this is past trauma. So you could have had physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, early childhood trauma, those sorts of things. Okay. I've been there. I know how to walk through those things, and I have a deep understanding of that route and bringing yourself and ourself through those things. Okay. Repeated life patterns. So if you've ever found yourself to where you continuously get with the wrong person, like you have that type and they're toxic and they're not good for you, and then you wind up with your heart broken and you're like, why did I do this again to myself? Why did I allow myself to repeat this pattern? And maybe you're just starting to recognize it as such. That would be a reason why the 32U deprogram would be beneficial for you. So this can go as far as like financial things. You keep repetitively, you know, kind of messing up or doing things over and over to self-sabotage yourself. Negative thinking. How many times are we super harsh on ourselves, and we begin to move forward, and then it's as if we got to backtrack. We got to pull ourselves down. Fear of, and that could really be a root. Fear of what you could potentially be, what you could potentially do, holding yourself back, those sorts of things. Another good one. How many have been totally confused about how you feel at all? I know I have been there. Why do I feel this way? Why can I not just shake this feeling off? Why can't I get myself out of this rut? Why can't I dig myself out of this hole? da 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 da, questioning why do I feel this way? Why do you feel depressed? Why do you feel so fearful? Why are you scared? Why are you, why do you have anxiety or panic attacks? Things like that. So that goes into triggered emotions as well. Anger, just repetitively being angry, and in your heart that there's nothing in that particular experience as to what would make you angry, rather than it's coming from a place of that inner self, that shadow self. Okay. Depression, sorrow, etc., emotions that are easily triggered, and trust me, I've been there. So that would be another reason as to why 32U could work for you. And then also I wanted to include physical pains, things that you need healing for, dis-ease. I think anybody watching probably has heard disease being dis-ease, something that you're not at ease about within your mind is creating physical problems within your body. So sometimes those things can manifest into our body. It also can come from past lives and even parallel lives. And I've had that happen many times. So those are some things, just some little cue notes here as to what would make the 32U be for you. So if you've ever experienced any of these things and are interested in talking more about this program, I also wanted to go ahead and mention that I do free consultations. With that being said, I'm very clear on who I work with. I want to know that you are committed to yourself and that you are ready and prepared. So I will honestly say that I'm not going to do this program for just anybody. I want to know for a fact that you are willing, ready, able, and committed to you. And then another thing on that note is I've always said, I think I've told Sheila this before, that when you're picking someone that's going to be working with you on this level, whether it be energy healing or a BQH practitioner, you have to trust that person. You really have to be in alignment with their vibration. I think it is just as important to know who you're working with, who's going to be in your field, in your energetic field, because I will be in your field. It's just as important as the people you have in your life. It's just as important as the partner that you choose. So be picky. So that's why I do free consultations. I want to know that our energy lines up together, that we're good to go, that you trust me, and that I know, and I trust you, and that I know that you're ready. Okay. So there's that, the free consultation. Any questions so far?
Well, stop screen sharing for a moment, because I want to say something about what you just said.
Okay.
Because I think it's very important what you just said. And because, well, you are offering a very focused, intensive deprogramming situation. All right. And I'm equating what you're doing here with what I have spent the last almost 5 years now trying to do on my own. Okay. The deprogramming. Right. And it's real slow going because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but you know what I mean by that. And so I see, especially since this is something that you've done for some time now for yourself, and you've assisted me many times, I just want to say that shadow work in general, just so everybody's clear, like I said before, shadow work is kind of a misnomer because it can be very messy, very gooey, very lots of tears, lots of confusion, all that kind of. So being in a trusting environment that you're describing here, knowing that it's a compatible frequential match is important, because I could tell you this too. I understand why your desire to make sure the person is ready, because here's the other thing. When a being is not ready to be confronted with portions of themselves that are not pretty, one tends to beat up the person that is trying to show them that portion of themselves.
Yep.
I know, I've had it happen to me. Everybody has, when we were unconsciously just trying to be ourselves, waking up and things like that. We've all experienced that on some sort of level.
Yes.
Right. And so I can see what you mean by that, because again, looking at why I have behaved in some ways and getting to the bottom of that said behavior and seeing it for what it is not easy, not pretty. And it does take the ability to be vulnerable with yourself first, because you can't do it with yourself. You're damn sure ain't gonna do it with Crystal or me or nobody else. And so I can see why that is part of what you are, and so thank you too for offering the free consultation, because I mean, how else is anybody supposed to know if it would be a match?
Right. And I will push you and test you and challenge you in the most loving way. So that is, I mean, it's very important to me, and it should be to the client as well. This isn't just for someone that's wanting to work on one specific and then backtrack. This is someone who is ready for that transformation, who is ready to truly step into seeing themselves and unfolding into who they truly are. I mean, this isn't for the weak. Okay.
No.
You can be weak. You can be vulnerable. Absolutely. I invite you to be that, but be prepared.
That's almost a prerequisite, if you ask me, to any of this kind of work, to be honest with you, because what's the point in doing that if you're not going to go all the way through to the very end? And that's really, and I wanted to say, while you were sharing about the 5, it's really very apropos that you're doing a 5 weeks, because 5 is the number that's attached to change. And so, yeah, that is definitely something that will be a change.
Yep, absolutely. And I thought that was just so perfect when, I was thinking on this, and all of these ideas were flowing through. And I was like, I've done a lot of things. I've learned a lot of ways to help people and to work with people. And I was like, you know what? I'm ready to put it in a full package. Let's bring this in. Let's do this. So, and then when I was like, how long should this program be? And I was like, okay, 3 plus 2, that's 5. That's a good vibrational number. That means change.
Well, like I said, I love the fact that you're willing to do a consultation with folks, because that way they can get a real good idea from you about exactly what would be involved in those 5 weeks, exactly what it includes. Because you said something to me about being in their field quite a bit.
Yeah.
You said something just a moment. Do you want to explain what you meant by that?
Yeah. So let's go back, and I'll show you as to what you can expect during this.
Okay, that's lovely.
5 weeks. All right. So you read when we began about what those numbers actually mean to me. But just as a reminder, we are working with these numbers. I feel like they're very powerful. They have been powerful to me. The number 32 has been, if you've, some people call them angel numbers. Some people just call them a synchronicity. 32 has always been that number for me. It would always pop up, and when it first started and when I started catching it years and years ago, obviously I didn't know at that time what it meant, but I totally understand it now. But with that power of 3, we will be working with your past, your present, and your future, doing that deep dive into your mind, your body, and your soul. So that's what that 3 means to me. And then with the 2, we're working with the dark and the light, bringing the unconscious into the conscious. This is what our goal is, and breaking through blocks and limited beliefs and just the barriers of the subconscious mind in itself. So very powerful number 2. So transformation and healing. By the end of the program, the power of these 2 numbers come together to vibrate at 5: freedom, radical change, transformation, and clarity of who you are. You guys can go watch a video on my YouTube. I do dive a little bit more into my personal experience with the 32. It's kind of a tough video that I did. It tells a lot of it doesn't go into too much detail, but it tells a lot about some experiences that I've been through and how I have helped myself, kind of what we introed with my bio, as Sheila called it earlier. So
well, and I want to point to that video actually right now very specifically, because if that was tough for you, this would be a good video for folks to take a listen, because this is what because you are your very first
yes,
client. This is you've done this for years. And so this would be great that at least someone can, before they actually reach out and contact you for the consultation, they can get a little bit of a feel for you through that video. I think that's lovely.
Yeah, you'll get a little more feel as to what my branding is, what my company is, what Journey Into It actually means to me, and then it goes into talk about, a little bit more personal into what I've been through and the 32. So that would be a great video to start out with.
That's awesome.
All right, so what to expect during this deprogram to heal. So like I said, we're going to do 5 weeks together. We're going to be nice and comfy with each other. So you will have 1 session per week for those 5 weeks. There's no time limit on that. I'm not being strict with, we're just going to do an hour or whatever that case may be. It's going to go until you feel satisfied and I feel satisfied with that week's work. I am going to be on call for you as long as I'm not sleeping during that whole 5-week period. With that being said, I am only taking 2 to 3 clients at a time. I want to be able to have full focus on those clients. So during this, there's nothing else that has my attention other than my kids. I will be on call for you. And when I say that, I'm going to be on call because you might have questions. You may have feelings that come up after we do a specific session, and I'll tell you in a minute what a session could, be like. But you might have specific questions because something's coming up for you, and we want to go ahead and talk about that while it's fresh. So, we could talk through email, Facebook Messenger, we can call, whatever the case may be. I will be there for you. Another really good reason why I wanted to do the on-call support is because when you begin to dive deeper into yourself, I have come to understand that dreams get more intense and your subconscious likes to begin to speak. And your dreams can be subconscious messages. That one of my favorite things to do is to break down dreams and interpret them, because I feel like sometimes we are out in the astrals playing, but sometimes our subconscious is speaking to us and they have a very profound message to share with you, something that is going to help you. So I like to be on call for that as well. If you woke up and you had this crazy dream and you feel like it pertains to the work that we're doing, shoot me a message and say, hey, we need to interpret this dream, write it out, and I will decode it and tell you what I think on it. Okay. So that's another reason why I wanted to do on-call support for you. Any questions?
No, actually it's more of a remark than a question about this on-call support. That is something I have not heard of in this kind of a situation, and on-call support. That's That's phenomenal for this kind of and very helpful, I would think, because like you said, I like the fact that you realize that it has to be done when it's
right there.
fresh.
Yes,
Right
absolutely.
then. Right
Absolutely.
then. Chances are, because this is what has happened with you and I. Chances are something happened to trigger that right then, that could assist, because and it would be important for you and the client to be able to work through that right then.
Yes. Yeah, I
I
feel
can
like
see
that's
it.
very important. And I stopped and asked myself, what would I had wanted back then when I was going through this journey? What would have helped me to navigate through this, you know? And
Right.
that was one of the things. Like I would have really loved to have had that friend or that coach or that, that person that I felt comfortable enough with to say, hey, can we talk for a moment? I've really got something going on here. So I want to be that person. And that's another thing that I talk about in that video of how I got started and why I named my business what I named it is because my sister has been that person for me. And I don't want to get too sidetracked, but I said something along the lines in that video that really is the foundation of Journey Intuit in itself is that I want to be that sister, that person for other people, through your journey as we journey into. So there's a whole ordeal, a whole explanation behind my business on that video. So I highly recommend go watching that video. But yeah, I did stop and think, hey, what would have helped me a little bit more back then? Um,
Well,
so
having had access 24/7 to someone very similar to yourself, I've had you as well, but having Lisa here too, I totally I get what you're saying, and I got to tell you, it certainly helps to have that,
yes,
to be able to come out, because I mean, how many times have I contacted you and say, look, I'm mulling this over and I could
right,
use some assistance. Yeah, so
right, yep. Yeah, you can get that outside perspective and see a different view on it. So yeah, it's highly important, I feel. So that's one of the perks to this. You get me. So what would a session in itself look like? So at first, when I was putting this all together, I was like, do I want to do specifics? First week is definitely going to be this, second week is definitely going to be that. And the more I tried and tested it out working with people, and the more that I thought about it, I was like, I feel like this needs to be intuitively led. So when we do a consultation, I will get a very good feel for you. And there I will come up with a plan as to what our first session is going to be like. These are some things that are listed to what could potentially be, but I don't have it set up as in a way of saying this is very strict and we're definitely going to do a shadow work session first off and then boom, 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 boom. I am leaving that up to be intuitive led. I will tune into it and see what I feel needs to come forward and what we need to work with, what tool I can better help you. So a session could look like shadow work and inner child healing, which is a lot of questions. I told you I'm going to test you. I'm going to challenge you in the most loving way. And these sessions right here can be very tough. The shadow
yes.
work and the inner child healing, they can.
Yes.
I don't think I ever posted that video. I don't think you did either. That last one we did.
No, I don't
That
think
was
so, but you
that
have
was
my
pretty
permission.
that was pretty profound for you.
Yes, it was.
And it was tough. It was tough getting in there.
Yeah.
So that may be one of those things, and really and truly, the only thing that I can really say about what that might look like is um, you and your ability to be very open and honest with me and with yourself, and a lot of questions. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's that honesty, that open honesty with self, first and foremost. Because again, if you can't be honest with yourself, you're damn sure not going to be honest with Crystal or anybody else. To be quite frank, that's
Yeah.
the way it feels to me. And so I know for a lot of years I was running from myself. So I get it,
Yeah.
but
And I want to say too, because I got this sensation of like some of the first times that I started working with myself on this level, which is a very long time ago because I began to do shadow work a long, long time ago. But so it felt funny at first, being able to be that open and expressive and vulnerable with yourself and be honest. It felt very, very funny to me. But I will say this, the more that you go along and the more that we go along in this, the more you're going to realize and the more open you're going to be, because you're going to notice and see that these things are creating change within you, creating change within your life. So you're not going to want to, you know?
oh, believe you me, that's the truth of that right there. That's the truth of that right there. That's why I say it has been one of the harder things I've ever done, but it's also one of the most rewarding things I've ever done because of what it feels like on the other side of that.
Yes. Yes. So another session might look through kind of digging through those subconscious blocks and talking about your beliefs. And I've come to find that within myself, I had a lot of limiting beliefs. Sorry, my mouth is getting dry. But those two, hand in hand with shadow work, are very profound. To be able to discover that something or someone or some experience has led you to believe this certain thing, and being able to shift that in itself is powerful. So you may have a session that looks deeper into those limiting beliefs and the subconscious blocks. Let me get something to drink.
Okay, alrighty then.
Another thing that I'm pulling out of my toolbox is the Beyond Quantum Healing session, and this is where we focus into the past life regression, to gain clarity on your purpose and connect to your higher self. So during these, Sheila knows, as she is a practitioner as well, but during these, you can gain so much clarity on so many things.
Right.
So you may have a session that includes doing a hypnosis session, which I think anybody enjoys, especially the information that comes out from those.
Right.
So that would be a situation if someone says, "Hey, I do have this total fear, a phobia over something, and we want to work with that and see what in that past life is causing that." Or someone that may approach me feeling as though everything happens to that said person rather than for that person. It's a mind shift, you know?
Right.
So, there could have been things in the past life in itself that is kind of what some people would call karmic lessons, those sorts of things. Another really good one that we would use for the BQH, obviously, is to gain gain clarity on your purpose. I know a lot of people are very curious about, what am I here for? What am I meant to do? What is my purpose? And that's one of my goals. I just want to go ahead and say that during this 32U, because for me, I think that started around the age 15 or 16, where I was questioning, what am I here for? It was one of those very huge questions that was always in the back of my mind, no matter what I was doing. It was, I feel like there's more to life than this. I want to make an impact. I want to know what my purpose is. And so that to me is very important. And I know that a lot of people feel that that's important to them and want to know, what are they here for? What is their purpose? So that's one of the ways that we would use that. But there's also other ways that we come to learn what your purpose is. So that doesn't only just come from the BQH session in itself, but it can be very beneficial to finding that out. And then also connecting with your higher self. Your higher self is that divine portion of you that can bring through so much clarity that all of these questions that you may have added up on your list that you can't quite figure out, the higher self is going to put you in check and bring forth those answers. Okay. So that's what a BQH is for. And that may be one of the things that we do during the 5-week period. You have anything to add to that? Because you are a practitioner too.
No, just that for me, especially when doing the shadow work, I can see why, as a practitioner, you would include this as a possible tool to use with clients, because, sometimes it is easier for a client to just relax in that type of a way, and allow, some other information to come forward. And when there's a suspicion of either past life or present life that is suppressed by self, which can also be the case, especially when working with trauma and shadow work. So I can see why you would put that. And I just want to also say that you are definitely a great beyond quantum healing practitioner, as far as I'm concerned. And
well, thank you.
Well, yeah. So I think that to me is like a bonus to have as a part of the tools that you have access to for this deprogramming. As far as I'm concerned, that's a wonderful. It's like a bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll
And of course the next one is near and dear to my heart.
So I want to go ahead and mention this too. I had a download of information come through that I need to change that to whole heart energy healing.
Oh, lovely. I like that.
I don't want to get too far sidetracked into this, but when I first named that, it was during this period where I was coming more into who I am. And because the Rubian heart in itself has so much to do with my galactic history, my galactic story, that and now that I know that, I guess that's why that download of information came through. But for now, we'll still say this is the Rubian heart energy healing. But if you hear it referred to at a later point as the whole heart energy healing, because I do feel like there are other rays of activation coming through for me, not just the Rubian. So it's time for me to expand upon that. So I'm just going to put that out there. If you see it written as something else, just note that this is what it is. So this is a portion during a session to where this is more near the end, definitely. This may be the 4th or the 5th. I don't think we would start out with something like this, but this is where I'm going to provide you with activations and alignments in your energetic body, your auric field, your etheric field. We're going to do a lot of work with this energy healing. These activations are for you to upgrade you, to up level you, to allow you to go forth. It's kind of like that moment to where it's like free birdie fly. So that's what it feels like to me. It's like,
well, I got to be honest with you, Crystal. What just came for me, because I've experienced this healing session with you several times now, and what just came for me is, and I never read the books, and I don't even remember. I don't think I ever saw the movie. If I did, it was during the time I was terribly ill, and I don't remember it. But it's my understanding that in the movie and the books that are about the Narnia, that the lion Azatlan sings a universe into being. And when you begin this heart healing energy and activations, it has that effect on me. I just, you know what I mean? It just, Oh, okay. That's very interesting. It's partly because of something we've done together, I think, of what I just got. But at any rate, because of the fact that, you know, sound and frequency and all of that has to do with creation, I'm just saying that that's the feel I have whenever you begin a ruby heart healing. Well, the whole heart healing that you're going to be referring to it moving forward. It's like that for me. That's how I would use to describe it.
Well, that's beautiful. Singing the universe, new universe.
Well, that's part of that book, and it just, like I said, there's bits and pieces of truth in every single thing, because
Yeah.
we are the all. So even in, you know, books, and people will say, oh, well, that's just an imagination, you know, that's fiction, that's yeah, but that came to somebody, so it's real. And that's what if, you know, like I said, that's what it feels to me, to be like.
You know,
And
I've
I'm
never
going
thought
with
about
that.
that. I've never thought about that, like how someone comes up with these particular movies that we might watch as, you know, our consciousness
Entertainment
is,
and
you know,
fiction, right?
and they probably get these downloads of information too, and just like are like putting it
Well,
out there.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think creation seeks to be expressed. I'll never forget. There is a quote by Prince that said when he got an idea for a song at 3 a.m., he had to get up and write it, because if he didn't, Michael Jackson would. And everybody, oh, ha, 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 that's so funny. But the truth of the matter is, I believe he was speaking truth. And this is, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that. Like, you know, the thermometer was created by the same people in 3 different places in the world at the same time. It's because life seeks to be expressed. Creation seeks to be expressed. Who's going to show up and express it? Hopefully the one that's moving towards what brings them joy. And that's what they're, you know what I'm saying? There's all sorts of frequencies out there. You are picking up and pulling in the whole heart energy healing and singing that into this existence. That's what I feel I was just shown.
I love that.
Well, and I to anybody that says, ah, Pisha, okay, whatevs, but I prove me wrong.
You can't.
No, that's right.
So yeah, so during the whole heart energy healing sessions, you know, I do use my hands for energy healing in itself. You may find me toning to align specific things within in your physical body, or your energetic body, or you may hear me speak light language. So um, there's that. So that might be something else that we do during a session. And then we also talk about, at some point, we do want to talk about moving forward, your goals, understanding and acknowledging your purpose, because, you know, at some point, even though you may hear it during this 5 weeks and you're like, you know, it just kind of has to simmer in your heart a little bit until it's like, oh yeah, oh okay, well, I fully understand that now. So we'll definitely wrap that up with acknowledgement of that, and speaking on your goals moving forward in your journey. And it does have that feel of setting you free. You know, this is something that week by week, maybe even day by day, I'm not going to say maybe, I'm going to say day by day, you are going to feel, experience, and see certain things beginning to shift within you and within your life. Okay. So that's the 32 you.
Well, I love that. Well, the only thing I'd like to add to what you just said there about that, because I know from my own experience that that portion that you spoke on when you first started talking about it is that if you're committed to you, because, if I think I'm committed, but, I show up and, oh, that's just too hard, then yeah, of course it's not gonna work. So
Right.
that is the thing right there.
Yep. Yep. And that's another big reason why I want to do that consultation, and I want to know that you are committed to this.
Right.
There's no sense in you wasting your time, energy, and money, and there's no sense in me wasting my time and energy if you are not at that place of being committed to you.
Yes. Well, and like I said, sometimes it's not easy doing this
No.
shadow work, and especially when, which has happened to me more than once. And you think I have, oh, I got this one. Okay, phew, we'll work that out, and then I'll go along and something happened and I find the exact same thing, but it looks a little different, feels a little different, shaped a little different. It was hiding behind something in the cupboard and I didn't quite see it for what it was at that point. And so that's why it is a commitment to continuing to see, sense, and feel all of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So again, you guys, if you are interested in that, you can just visit my website. It is just journeyintoit.com. You will see the little tab here for 32U, and down here you can schedule your consultation, your free consultation.
All right. Awesome. And I'll have a link where we will on both places, because this video will appear both on Corona Rising and over on Journey Intuit. All of the links to Crystal's offerings, her YouTube, her website here, will all be available in the show more section of this video. And I'd like to, I really want to give a little plug, unless you want to do a separate one, because I just love the artwork that you're doing. I would love for you to show, do you still have that painting that you were showing me the other day? Right there by you?
That one went to a client.
Oh, it's already gone. All right.
That one that I showed you was a personalized light language transmission.
I gotcha. So can we talk a little bit about that? I mean, I would love for folks to know that you have several light language transmission offerings that you offer in differing sorts of ways. Do you want to talk about that now, or did you want to do a separate?
I will do a little short version of it. I think I kind of feel like it would be best to do a separate video of it.
I think so too, actually, because it could be a lot longer. So let's do that. Let's just suffice to say that what Crystal is doing right now, she's scrolling through
I'll slow it down.
her website. Well, just because we're sharing the screen, and showing you how you can find her artwork on her website. There you go.
So this one right here, it's really cool. It has a little metallic.
Stop sharing your screen so we can see it larger.
Okay.
There you go.
So this one, it has a little metallic paint to it, and it also is glow in the dark. So the picture you see up there is what it looks like with the blue light. So this one's really cool. I did this one on, I think, the 3rd, and you can also watch the sound transmission that goes along with this too. It's up on my channel. And then the other one that I have for sale right now is the abundance portal that I did.
Oh my gosh, Crystal.
So this one's pretty awesome too. I love it.
Oh, yes, I do too.
I really debated on hanging this one back there.
I love that.
So there's also a sound transmission that goes along with this one on my YouTube channel as well.
I
And
hope that
this one's like an hour and something long. Like this one took me a good bit. This one I took clips out of it and did a little 12-minute video on it. So if you want a little short take on what that looks like, then this would probably be the one you want to go watch.
Well, I love what you're doing, the branching out in this and then offering the transmissions. I think that's fabulous.
Yeah, so just to do a little short, and we'll talk more in depth on the next video of it. So I do offer the paintings, and I do personalized light language encoded art and personalized sound transmissions for you as well. And I do have that together as a package, or you can purchase them separately too. I wanted to mention this too. Go ahead and mention this as well.
Well, I was going to say, before you do that, I want to just share something about your sound transmissions. Okay, because you were guided to do a sound transmission for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to just share with everyone that you're specific when you tune in to someone. That is, I just want to highly recommend that. I still use that transmission for meditation and whatnot. So I'm just saying that there's a lot that you offer, and I do want to do a standalone conversation about that.
Absolutely. Because there's so much information about this too that we're definitely going to do a separate conversation about this. I was getting pressed about something a minute ago. I think it's went away. Oh yeah. Let me go ahead and offer this out here. And then I want to share this real quick, and I think this will wrap this video up. So I had another download of information come through the other day about, I used to do, I dived into photography for a long time. And it just kind of, dwindled down, especially with my almost 5-year-old now. That's probably how long it's been. I just had her and, was rather busy with that. So that kind of dwindled out. But I love art in itself. I feel like you can make art into anything. I was doing my nephew and their hair today, and I was like, this is art. This is beautiful art. So I swear I make art out of everything. But so anyways, the information that came through for me the other day, and I'm putting this out here because I want to put it to the test. I think I was laying in the hammock and just watching the clouds, watching the sky. And I was like, this would be a wonderful shot. And I seen it come through as that shot with my own photography and me adding the light language into it. But not only that, what I was being pressed to say right now was, I feel like some personalized light language encoded art could be of a personal portrait. I was seeing like a person and then me designing the light language around the photograph of that person. So I want to go ahead and say and put this out here. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but I do want to test it out. So if anybody is interested, and I know you, in sending me a photograph and allowing me to play around with that and see, what becomes of it, I would love that. And I'm sure you would too. So I'm going to put that out there. Don't know how long I'm going to offer it. So if you want to do that, send them on. Okay. And yeah.
Well, can I go one step farther with that, with
Mm-hmm.
what you just put out there, since you're talking about doing it that way?
Yeah.
Let's see, anyone that is interested in doing that, reach out to you. And then if you're interested in coming and having a conversation about your experiences with all of that afterwards, because I'm going to do that with you about my experiences, because I know you're going to do that with me. And I would love it for anyone that does reach out to you that is then, it's not a prerequisite, of course, but who
That would
might
be
be
awesome.
interested. Yeah. And we could, because that's what, listen, that's what this is all about, man. Trying new stuff and doing stuff completely different from any other way we've ever done anything before, so that we can step out of these boxes that we put ourselves in.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would love that. So, again, if you're interested, shoot me a message, let me know. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about while we're on here is I do have a members page. Just now getting it up and running, but I am offering that. It's not a reoccurring charge. I know a lot of people do not like the reoccurring charges. And honestly, I don't know how to set that up as of yet. I have a pretty good idea, but I don't want to go through the twists and turns to actually have to do that right now. But just being honest here. But I do have a members access page. So in this particular section of my website, I'll go ahead and say it is 11/11 for that month. Super cheap, I feel, with all the content that you're actually getting within this. For starters, since we were talking about the paintings, you do get a discount price. I list those first in the member page before I actually post those on my website for sale. So not only do you get first sneak peeks of everything, sound transmission, digital art, paintings, but you also get discounts on that. Okay. And then also once it gets up and running good, I do want to start doing giveaways within that members page as well. And that's not it. There's not only light language in there. I also do shadow work prompts, just little things to kind of trigger you and get your energy flowing, and kind of do some personal work within yourself. So I do like those prompts. I'll give you a little, yeah, it's already on there. So I'll give you a little sneak peek in here. So this is the last digital art that I uploaded. And what I do in the members page that I don't do on the website as of yet is I give you a little way to connect it. I give you a little way to see what this particular piece means, how to connect to it, and some things that can allow you to go a bit deeper into that. Okay. So these are things that you're not going to see on the website itself. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a message as well, or you can email me at journeyintuit@gmail.com.
All right. Awesome. Well, I love your website, and it's journeyintuit.com, and it's INTUIT.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. Well, like I said, we'll make sure and have links to everything, because you also have your own YouTube channel, Journey Into It, which is actually featured on the Corona Rising channel under the channels that I am subscribed to. So you can go there and you can access Journey Into It's channel from there, or within the show more section of this particular video. Well, thank you for coming and having this conversation with me, and well, just for being you, because honestly, the shadow work that you have done with me has been tremendously helpful. And the fact that I know that you know what you're doing because you've done it with yourself, and the way that you have assisted me, I can't say enough about all of that. And I know that's why I say I highly recommend your program, because I think it will be your D program, actually, because I think it could be an absolute wonderful thing for anyone who is really serious about getting into them. And that it's so interesting too. You talked about patterns, our patterns, why do I keep doing this to myself? Why does this keep happening?
Yeah. That's a big
There's
one.
a lot of that.
That's a big one.
Right. Well, my dear, I appreciate you coming in and catching up with me and sharing with everyone what it is you're doing over there at journeyintuit.com. And I want to tell everyone we're going to get back together again and do another video, because I really want to talk more about Well, all of it actually, but especially that art. I think there's a lot forthcoming on that. I think that's really exciting. And your transmissions, you do those too, and there are certain ones that you only put on your members only spot too. So
there's one listed on there right now that is not anywhere. It's going to be released onto Spotify and Apple Music April 4th. So only the members are getting to see that one as of now.
Oh, that's
listen
awesome.
to that one. So
oh, that's
I'm
awesome.
so proud of that.
I bet you are. Well, as well you should be. That's awesome.
My nephew, I swear, he's my number one supporter. Every time I drop something on YouTube, he goes and listens to it, goes and likes it. He is like my number one fan, and I love that. And we support each other. He's trying to grow his YouTube channel. He's 11, guys, and he comes in here this morning. I was like, guess what? And I told him the news. He was like, no. I was like, yes.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
So I'm glad that you got
that. That's so awesome. That is so awesome. All right, sweetie. Well, I want to thank everybody. I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear from you if you did sign up for Crystal's new little thing with the photography and well, we're going to do a whole separate video, I think, about that. So, but yeah, reach out to Crystal about that. I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
Well, if you have not already subscribed to, I almost said Conscious Conversation Central. If you have not already subscribed to Corona Rising, I hope you will do so. And, if you hit that notification bell, hopefully you will be notified. Sometimes, apparently, something happens and you're not. Just I have been told if you unsubscribe and resubscribe, that'll work for a little while. So kind of try that. Otherwise, I don't know what to say about that. Thanks again so much, Crystal, for coming and doing this.
Thank you.
Till next time, guys. Mwah. Choose joy.